Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you are presenting in meetings, leading a team, or just trying to speak more clearly at work, communication is key to your success, especially if English is not your first language. I'm Jayne Latz, founder of Corporate Speech Solutions, and today I'm sharing 8 practical tips that will help you speak more clearly, more confidently, and more professionally in the workplace. So get your pen ready, get your Google Docs ready, get whatever form it is that you like to take notes, because there will be a great deal of information. These tips are specifically designed for non-native English speakers who want to strengthen their communication, stand out as leaders, and increase their impact without changing who they are. So whether you are here to polish your pronunciation, build your confidence, or reduce misunderstanding, you are in the right place. And hello to Sindbad. I do want to encourage asking questions, introducing yourself, telling me where you are calling in from, because we do get people from all over the globe, and I love that. So thank you, Sindbad, for checking in. Our first tip is on mastering past tense pronunciation in English. And this might seem simple, but it is quite challenging for non-native English speakers. So again, if you do have questions, please put them in the comment box. I do try to keep an eye on those questions and answer everything. Understanding the final D, T, or id sound at the end of a regular past tense verb is key to sounding more natural and polished in standard American English. So let me explain that a little bit more. If a verb ends in a voiced sound, such as the word play, you simply add a D sound, such as played. Today I will play the violin. Yesterday I played the violin. Think of it as just adding a D to the verb. Of course, in spelling, that's not correct, but in pronunciation, it's that simple. If the verb ends in a voiceless sound, such as the word stop, you will add a T sound. So even though it is spelled S-T-O-P-P-E-D, it would be pronounced stopped. And you can actually write, to help yourself, S-T-O-P-T, stopped. The easiest past tense form is if the word ends in a T or a D, such as wait or need. You would simply add what becomes another syllable, id. So I waited, I needed. And this definitely sounds challenging in a brief live stream. But I do want you to know that in our workbook that accompanies all our private training, but available to you in a digital form, it's called Talking Business When English is Your Second Language. And I can just quickly show it to you. It's right under our products. Talking Business When English is Your Second Language. And if past tense is tricky for you, grab a copy of this book from our product section on the on the website, because it is so clearly defined, and we have many downloadable audio files for you to practice. Those audio files will help you to master the pronunciation, and it is a great tool if you would like to continue to practice this further. Thank you, Carlos, for joining us. It's always great to see our long-term friends. I'm not going to say old friends, long-term friends. So thank you for joining us as well. Now, if you think that was hard, we're now going to jump in to our next tip on irregular verbs, which don't follow a pattern. They change entirely in the past tense. And I remember back when I was in grammar school, I remember no rule, every rule is made to be broken. And here's a perfect example. There are no rules to memorize or practice. You just have to learn how these words exist in past tense. Once you are familiar with the most common ones, you'll be able to recognize those patterns more easily. So what am I talking about? And again, in the last tip, I talked about very specific rules that you can practice and perfect. Now it's a matter of learning these words. So for example, today I will begin this live stream. Yesterday, I began the live stream. The word begin becomes began. Today, I may break the rules. Yesterday, I broke the rules. So break becomes broke. As you see, there is no rule that these irregular past tense words follow. Another example is build. Today, I will build a house. Yesterday, I built the house. Today, I will do my homework. Yesterday, I did my homework. So those are just 4 examples of irregular past tense. And if you're anything like me and you already jumped on my website to purchase Talking Business When English is Your Second Language, page 118 will provide a more extensive list of these words. It's a great reference for you to really work on these skills. I really don't want this to sound like I'm just promoting that workbook. Believe me, at what it is priced at, I'm not really making money. It's really the best guide out there to help you with these areas of improving pronunciation and clarity of communication. I have been working, I founded Corporate Speech Solutions 20 years ago. And today I can tell you many of the calls that I receive from management are for talented and brilliant individuals, bright individuals that they want to promote, but the communication skills are holding them back. So this workbook is the easiest way to help you perfect some of these skills without diving into the one-to-one training. Of course, we're always available for one-to-one training, but on this live stream, I really want to introduce you to areas that you can work on and improve on your own, especially with that guide. So again, I'm not trying to promote a product. We have more expensive products I could promote, but this guide is something that every non-native English speaker should have. It's digital, easy to use, and in its 5th edition, because we just always work to perfect our training method. So let's go on to tip number 27, which is irregular past tense part 2. And what I didn't explain is that for several years, I provide a tip every week on social media. Less than 60 seconds, a tip on social media. The purpose of these live streams is to summarize what the past month provided, as in case you missed one. They do exist on all social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and definitely YouTube. And if you're not a subscriber on YouTube, you may want to do that now. Yes, today is a longer one. It's 8 tips, not just the 4 for the past month, because life has been very busy. I haven't been able to schedule one as timely as I usually do. So yes, that's why I said get out your paper and your pens and ask questions, because I know there's a lot of information today. Carlos, you are the best. Send the link for the book, and we will get that into the comment section. So thank you so much. Perfect. There it is. All right. So in our last tip, we talked about the irregular past tense. And I only gave a few because sometimes it's hard to learn too much at once. So in my tip, my weekly tip, I shared a few. And today we're going to add a few more. This week, it is a little interactive, so I want you to test yourself. So what is the past tense of forget? I want you to think about it. And for those watching, if you want to quickly put it in the comments section, I am curious to see what we think the past tense of forget is. I want to make sure I don't forget to put the answer in the comment section. While you're typing, you can also think of what the past tense of the word hide is. Thank you, Carlos. Yes, the past tense of forget is forgot. So for everybody watching this either live or later on, you can look in the comments section for the correct spelling, because thanks to Carlos, it is now spelled for us. The past tense of forget is forgot. And what is the past tense of hide? Thank you, Loquesi. Also forgot. Excellent. Now, if you have a moment, put in the past tense of the word hide. Think about it. And then, of course, so far we've got the past tense of forget in the comments section. I don't want to give you the past tense yet for hide. Today I will hide the answers. Yesterday all right, drum roll. The past tense of hide is hid. Yesterday I hid all the answers. And the link for Talking Business is there. This is also on page 118, and you can continue to learn more. And I recommend just a few a day. Don't try to learn the whole list. Practice using them so that you will master the use. We are now up to tip number 28, which is beware of the T sound. I remember when I was working on a certification in working with non-native English speakers on reducing their accent over 20 years ago. One of my resources had pages on modifying the T sound, and those pages were this thick, if you could see. It was like an inch thick, because there are 4 ways to pronounce the T sound. We have shortened that in our workbook because I think only a speech language pathologist needs the detail of a 1-inch thick document on improving the T pronunciation. So yes, there are 4 ways to pronounce it. But for today, we're going to keep it simple and think about the T in the initial position of a word. And for many, this is a challenge, but the initial T is crisp, it's clear, and it's strong, not soft and mumbled. So I'm going to share some words, and I want you to repeat them with me, especially if you're on mute. So say the word tune. I'm going to tune the television. Time. What time is it? Tie. I always need to tie my shoelaces. Tear. I will tear the piece of paper. Two. The number 2 or going to someplace. Those are homonyms to be discussed at another time. I'm going to repeat them so you can practice them with me. Tune, time, tie, tear, to. Make sure the T is clear and crisp at the beginning of a word. We're only discussing the T pronunciation at the beginning of a word. Clear T pronunciation will help you sound more precise and professional in business communication. Practice with more of the T words, and you will quickly perfect that pronunciation. Moving on to tip 29, another challenge in standard American English. We are going to discuss the final S sound, but first I want to say hello to Ishmael from the Netherlands. Wonderful. Thank you for joining. We did do a poll under our post on our YouTube channel to choose which time is best for our international audience. And this was the time that was selected. It was the most popular in our poll. So always make sure to keep an eye on our posts on our YouTube channel, because we provide a lot of polls and a lot of great information. And I love the polls. They are terrific. And we judge a lot of the work we do based on those polls. So make sure at least weekly you check out our post page. So welcome to all our viewers, even if you're not commenting. So now we're going to talk about the S sound, something else that's challenging. Did you know that the final S sound can be pronounced in 3 different ways? Yes, standard American English can be so challenging. The correct pronunciation depends on the final sound of the word, not the spelling, the final sound of the word. So here is what I mean. A soft S, such as in the word miss. There's also a Z sound for words ending in a voiced Z sound, as in the word buzz. So if you notice, miss is not voiced. It's like a bumblebee hissing. And buzz, there is a vibration. That's why it's voiced. And that's like a bumblebee. Buzz, I'm sorry, the miss is like a snake. And the vibrating z is like the bumblebee. And then others that end in a full extra syllable, as in wishes and dances. Again, this could seem very tricky, but with practice, which of course is in the workbook, extensive practice, many downloadable sound files, you will be able to master how to correctly pronounce the S sound. It is tricky. There are rules. The more you practice, the more you'll perfect. There are two different ways that people learn that I've noticed. One is the ear training. The more you hear it, the more you'll recognize it, the more you'll pronounce correctly. And then others like to study the rules, and that is the essence of our book. So you have the option of studying the rules or listening to the sound files, or both, of course. But over the course of the 20 years of working with non-native English speakers, I know that some work best by learning the rules. I remember early in my business, I had a client that this was when we were in New York City. She would put the rules or whatever she was practicing in a cellophane cover, and she would walk to work reading and practicing. Then, of course, people would start downloading the files, and they would walk the streets of New York City practicing. So wherever you are, you have those options of reading and learning the rules, or listening, or both. So next, thank you, Carlos. I see you participating. I don't see if you had a question. Hopefully, maybe it's just a thumbs up. Thank you. So tip 30 is mastering a very subtle but very important sound, the schwa sound. And I actually just recently created a video on the schwa sound because it is that important. If you don't see it yet, it's because we have many videos queued up for production in our nice production line. So if you don't see my video on the schwa sound, keep checking back, or make sure to subscribe so when we post new videos, you're alerted to it. That's probably the easiest. So it's written phonetically, which you don't really have to care about, as an upside down E. But it is a very common vowel sound, and it appears in unstressed syllables. And again, where we put the stress in syllables can be all the difference in whether what you're saying is clearly understood or not. Many people that I have spoken with, again, over the years at all levels, may have strong pronunciation skills, but they haven't mastered the stress, where to put the stress on which syllable. And that can completely change how the listener processes the words. So stress is so important. So a few examples of the schwa sound would be sofa, sofa. I'm sitting on the sofa. That at the end is unstressed, and you might not think it's necessary, but if we just said sof, we wouldn't know what we're talking about. So you have to say it. It's kind of like an sound. Taken, that second syllable in, taken. It's softer, unstressed, but important. Taken. A few more to listen and practice. About. So the second syllable is where the stress is, but we still need to hear about. Support. I need customer support. It's that support. There are so many words that have the schwa sound. Mastering the schwa sound will help you to sound more natural and fluent, something that almost all our non-native English speaking clients want in our training. They want to sound more fluent, more natural, especially as you're climbing that professional ladder. Mastering the schwa sound will help you sound, or it will help you improve the flow and the rhythm. Again, something so important when moving up the ladder. Using that proper pronunciation will help you to sound more natural. So a few more words to practice before we finish this tip. Go, arrive, away. Can you hear the schwa sound? Which syllable is it in? Go, arrive, away. These are all 2-syllable words. Which syllable? Always a celebration when I'm speaking. I don't plan those balloons. Just gave more time for you to respond to which syllable are you hearing the schwa sound? The first or the second? Go, arrive, away. If you answered to yourself that it was the first syllable in all 3, you are correct. With practice, using the schwa sound will become automatic, and you will sound more natural and more fluent. Okay, questions, please make sure you put them in the comment section. Otherwise, we're going on to tip 31, which is so important. We just talked about some stress and intonation. So this is about intonation, which is that rise and fall of your voice, which is essential to sounding more fluent and more natural. It also helps convey emotion, intent, and meaning. So the basic rule is to use a rising intonation in a yes/no question at the end. Are you coming? Have you arrived yet? Are you there yet? Falling intonation is used with a statement. It shows confidence and signals your thought. Now, here's something really important. There's a bad habit out there, a very bad habit, where people are using the rising intonation when it's not a question and where they shouldn't. And that will make individuals sound tentative, unsure of themselves, insecure, lacking professionalism. Have I convinced you enough to take that seriously? So here's a very simple example. My name is Jayne Latz. That's a statement. My name is Jayne Latz. Now I'm turning it into a question. Am I unsure of what my name is? I founded Corporate Speech Solutions. Falling intonation, making a confident statement. I founded Corporate Speech Solutions. Am I now asking a question about whether or not I founded this? If you record yourself in a professional meeting, pay attention to the rising or falling of your intonation. It is so important. Again, people will call me, managers will call me, and this is in almost what I call a trifecta of communication challenges that are stressing out management. So learn to master intonation so that you sound more natural and more fluent. You make your intentions clear, and you sound confident and professional in the workplace. Practice the rising, practice the falling. Notice the changing tone. Make the adjustments where you must. Remember, if you want to sound confident in the workplace, you want to make sure that you have rising intonation when it's a question, and you have falling intonation when making a statement. As we move on, we still have a few tips, but I do want to thank all of you that are tuned in. I know how busy the workplace is. And even if your day is done, for people like Ishmael in the Netherlands, it's a different time of day. You're taking away from your evening. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so when I do post new videos, you always get them. So we're going to continue with tip 32 because I've talked about the stress patterns and they are so important. Stress is a powerful tool at speaking. It will help to highlight the most important parts of your message. It makes your ideas clearer and more memorable. For example, you did it with the right stress will draw attention to your excitement and your enthusiasm. Some people tend to be monotone, and that turns people off. They'll stop listening. Using strategic stress and intonation patterns creates a dynamic, engaging voice and prevents your speech from sounding monotone or boring. Thank you so much. I know we covered so many tips here. It was a longer live stream than some of the others you may have seen. But like I said, we covered 8. We covered 8 practical tips. And if you were a little overwhelmed, replay this, practice all the examples we did, because my goal is to help you master all of these tips from the past tense to the final S, to good stress and intonation, so that you will always sound clear, concise, and confident. It's a journey. You may want to just get the book and practice independently. You may want to purchase one of our independent courses, or you may want one-on-one training. Reach out to me for any of those if you have any questions. My contact information will be put in the comment section. I also can be reached via the website. It is a journey. It's not a race. Practice these tips regularly, and over time, you will notice yourself becoming clearer, your messages being more powerful and more confident. What I hear from many managers when we have people working with us is the self-awareness. They're noticing the individuals more aware. So that is the first step. So don't get frustrated with yourself. I have a quote right at my desk. The destination called mastery is on a road called repetition. And on that road, there are neither shortcuts or express lanes. It takes practice. Don't give up. The first step is awareness. Your voice matters. And with these tools, you will be on your way to speaking with greater clarity, greater confidence, and greater impact. So keep practicing, keep shining, and keep showing up, because the world needs to hear what only you have to offer. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you in our live stream next month. Have a good month.